Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Kevin and Ashley, and then I got a new co-host this week. Actually, every week it's going to be Bill Stoner in the bottom. And Ashley, and then I got a new. Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. Wait, this one's going to do it now too. Okay, I stopped it. So my new co-host, Bill Stoner, and then thank you guys so much coming on. Nate from Everyday I'm Hustling and Anthony from Pittsburgh. So anyways, tell us a little bit about your guys' self. Mainly like how you guys started and what made you want to do this stuff and resell.
Sure. Why don't you go first, Nate? You got the cooler beard.
Me? All right. So basically, I was working full time and then I got hurt and I'm watching YouTube. I got a lot of time on my hands watching YouTube and my kids watch YouTube. So I just was like looking through stuff and saw a video of like storage lockers and then somebody going to the thrift store buying shirts and clothes and stuff like that for $1 and selling it for $20 to $30. And I'm like, wait a second, I can do that. And I was looking for something, like in the back of my mind, I was looking for something to kind of supplement some income because, when you're on workman's comp, you're only getting, 2/3 of your pay. And, there's no overtime or anything like that. So I need something to replace it. So I started doing that. And that was back in June of 2018.
Now, Anthony, do you remember who kind of first was like a big influence on you? Like maybe like if you watched American Pickers or somebody you came across on YouTube?
Were you asking me or were you still talking to Nate?
Sorry, Nate. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, my bad.
I think the first person I really got to watch was Global Voodoo. He was the guy that, was actually in the thrift store whenever I watched that one video. And, he was just doing a thrift video. And I'm like, wow, that wasn't too bad. I'm sure there's Goodwills around me. You know what I mean? So he was the first person I got to check out.
Okay. And then how about you, Anthony?
For me, I've always in some way, shape, or form been reselling something. I started when I was in maybe second grade selling candy to kids in the homeroom. You know what I mean? And, pretty much all throughout my life, I would sell stuff I wasn't using to kind of upgrade to things I wanted, whether it's a video game collection, card collection, whatever, and my wife and I, we actually, I've done several businesses myself outside of the whole resale game, but my wife and I, we had a church in my hometown and closed about 2 years ago now. And when that happened, I just kind of reverted back to reselling. I deal with chronic pain and, a couple disabilities from being a professional wrestler. Yeah. So for me to like go and like hold down a regular job, it's kind of difficult unless I'm kind of in control of my day and I can kind of do things at my own pace. So I just naturally reverted back into the reselling, once the church closed because, I was in need of work and I probably can't hold down like a traditional job just due to the pain and everything like that. So I at first I started with selling at the flea market, and I would basically source locally or on eBay to go and flip at the flea market. And then since we live in cold climate here in Pennsylvania, I'd just been watching a lot of YouTube, and I came across Garage Flips, Lonnie's channel. And that was a real game changer for me. About 12 years ago, I spent some time as a lister for somebody. And so I kind of already kind of knew eBay a little bit, but it's been a long time since I did it in any kind of serious fashion. I got real into watching Lonnie's videos, and next thing I knew, I was kind of doing the whole thing myself.
Yeah, that's one thing I gotta say is, man, Lonnie, Cincinnati Picker, and Craigslist Hunter, they all have something going on there, like consistently. I love watching, even though some of them may not pick up big items, but I mean they're consistently doing the same thing over and again. But it's like I'm addicted to watching them. I love seeing how they're doing it, what they're using. And I think for me, I mean, it's crazy coming back and seeing how different and how I would say resourceful it is. and refreshing. Because before, when we were doing like haul videos, we would literally just lift it up and tell you what it was and throw it down. But like with them, they're actually interacting more like vlogging, I would say. I think that's kind of been a huge trend with resellers the last few years. But tell me a little more about the wrestling. What happened? You just got hurt wrestling, or?
Yeah, I broke my back in 3 places.
Oh,
So yeah, I got pretty messed up. Like the point I retired, I was like barely able to walk. I was so messed up. So it's been a long time. It's been a long time coming. You know what I mean? Just kind of the wear and tear on my body, and I'm still dealing with a lot of the consequences of that even to today.
yeah.
So
what do they have you like on pain meds and stuff?
Yeah, I'm not on anything like super serious anymore. Like at one point I was on like Vicodins and Oxys and pretty much anything I can get my hands on just so I can keep wrestling. But I wrestled with the back broken for a year and a half.
Oh,
and it just got it just got to the point where if I would have just taken care of it when it first happened, I could probably still be wrestling today. But being an idiot and wanted to keep pushing because I knew that I was up for a big title push, I pretty much screwed myself for life.
Did you get that title?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got a few of them.
So now when you get the title, do you get to keep the belt? Or I know some places where you get to like give the belt back or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you give the belt back. I mean, if you want, you can always get replica versions of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you typically give the belt to whoever beats you for it.
Okay. Last time before we move on, because I'm really interested in the wrestling part, how long was like you at the top of your game? Like how long do you think that was? Because I know wrestlers nowadays, like you said, they have to basically be on some sort of pain meds because of all the wear and tear they take on their back and their legs and because all those maneuvers they take, especially the ones that are not so big or like the WWE, the ones that like to do the house shows and stuff like that. They seem to could take more risk and get hurt a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. Top of my game. I mean, I retired when I was, I don't know, maybe like 28 or 29 years old. So like I retired pretty early into my career. Typically like guys getting into WWE, they're like in their 30s by the time they get there for the most part. So I retired a little premature for that, but I mean, I did pretty well for myself. I was in the NWA. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's like basically step down from like WWE type stuff. And, a lot of the people I actually wrestled with, either made it to WWE or TNA or, some other, bigger.
I didn't know you did the NWA. I remember, what is it? I think WE bought them out, right? Like they always do. They buy everything out.
They bought out like the bigger promotions, but NWA still runs pretty much all around the world. It's just a lot smaller scale. It's like small territories like it used to be back in the day.
Yeah. So anyways, I figure I'll ask you guys the first question, then we'll just free flow it, go with the flow. And I'll probably have Bill ask a couple questions too. I know my girlfriend, like I told you guys beforehand, she's brand new at this. She does an amazing job. And she has a few questions to ask you guys also, like, because I mean, we're trying to scale up just like you guys are, and we're trying to make a transition from part-time to full-time. At least I am. She's trying to make it, where she can still help me out 50% of the time, but go more full-time with her job that she's doing now. And I mean, we got some great news today. She's gonna be able to take on, what is it, like 20 more hours on one person for what she does. And that's going to help her out tremendously. So she's definitely moving the right direction. And I think she feeds off of my positive energy. And it's like, likewise, if I have a down day, it's the same thing. I feed off hers and it's likewise. But my first question is, can you each give me, including Bill, one strategy? Because this is one thing I know a lot of people in here are advanced resellers. So like I want to give them a little more than it would be for beginners. But what would be like your one secret that you apply that maybe someone else is doing it or you see them doing it wrong? I'll start with Anthony first.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So you mean as far as scaling my resale business?
Not scaling, just like one little tip that you would give them, or something that you do, whether it's the way you ship your items or what else can I say? Sourcing an item.
I would say,
yeah.
In regards to sourcing, When I first started, I would basically anything that I thought was like a good deal, I would pick up. And it just got to the point now where I'm a lot wiser with the purchases I make. So rather than having stuff that I'm going to have to either take to the flea market and blow out like at basically cost or just donating, now I'm not picking up a lot of that stuff. If it's like under $10, like I'm making back now, I won't even touch it. Whereas like when I first started, I was literally picking up anything if it was cheap.
Yeah.
And that was one of my bigger mistakes early on, was just buying stuff for the sake of buying it. Thinking, oh, well, somebody will want this, but meanwhile it's 2 years later and I still have like a huge stock of X, Y, and Z, you know what I mean? So just being smarter with what I buy is really helped me out a lot. And the other thing is shipping, you know what I mean? Making sure that you handle the shipping up front, you know what I mean? With weighing it accurately and making sure the measurements are correct, so that way you don't sell an item and be like, oh crap, I just lost $20 because I didn't put dimensional shipping, like I wasn't considering that whenever I listed this item. So that's just like two of the things that I've struggled with early on that I've learned to adapt with.
Now, with the dimensions and all the shipping, I know some people like Clay's from Clay Closet. He likes to, once he weighs the item after he's done doing the whole, listing it, do you put it in the box it up and then put it away? Or do you put it in like your totes behind you and then like you have it organized with a specific tote?
I very seldom will pre-pack it. Normally I'll either just put it on a shelf, in a drawer, in a tote. If it's not listed, normally I keep it in a tote on the floor. So that's kind of like my process. Like if it's on a shelf, it's listed, ready to be sold. But if it's not on a shelf, then I need to get it up there like ASAP.
Yeah, because I think for me is when you, and I don't think I even told Clay this, when you pre-package an item up and you box it up, what if he asks something for more specific, like, hey, like, are you sure that measures this like 44 inches across, or 44-inch waist total? And for me, I just hate going into the bin after it, because I get those questions a lot, like, how much of a suit jacket can you let out? And it's like, whew, now that's for me would be a big no, because now I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna have to go in there, find the box, and have to rip the box open and most likely tape the box up or get a new box to put in it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I've had that issue on a few items. It's part of the reason why I don't pre-pack. I mean, I understand why a lot of people do. It does save you a lot of time in the long run, but it's just not my thing.
And how about you, Nate? What's one tip that you think that some people may not be doing right now that you could probably help them out on?
Honestly, like this is something I do every night, and right before the show, as soon as I sat down, is exactly what I did. Look online, when you're sourcing, you know what I mean? Don't always think you got to source in store. Sometimes you get better deals online than you would in store with different things like Rakuten, and you can use what is it called? Raise.com to buy gift cards, and then you save percentage, extra money on top of your sale or deal that they already have going on. And, every little bit helps, and it goes in your pocket basically. And, yeah, I mean, I find stuff all the time, like, because when I come home from work, everything but Walmart's closed.
Yeah.
And, you can only source Walmart only so much, you know what I mean? And it's very competitive because a lot of us source from Walmart and different things. So, I just went online, looked at something, I seen it was 90% off. I bought 40 of them just before the show. So, just always keep your eyes open, even if it's in the middle of the night and you can't sleep, go look around the different websites and stuff that you could source from, because you can find a home run that can make you a lot of money.
Sure. Yeah. And that's why I think that's a huge untapped market, exactly what you just said, because I see a lot of people just like, they'll sit at home and be like, oh man, I can't source it. I don't know how to source, or I can't source this weekend. It's like, well, you do have your computer, number one, and you're probably always on it too. And it's right next to you, or you can even use your phone. Open up eBay, find something that you feel like maybe you can get a little, the niche a little bit, and you can get an edge on people, and find some stores that you feel like they have stuff that are just bottoming out or blowing out their stuff, like $1 auctions they're starting at without many people that are following them. And I have a few of those sources that I do, and then just sit there. I mean, I'll do it just for the dumb of it, because it's like, okay, well, what can I find? Because to me, it's always out there. There's something always online, especially eBay or Mercari, that I can easily just type a few words in, look at the cheapest plus shipping, and then go from there. And I like the ones that are buy it now. But if it's not buy it now, I'll wait out. I'll put my sniping tool on, and I'll snipe it from an auction. It doesn't happen all the time. I would say maybe 30% of the time I'll get what I want. But if it does work, then I can still go out, sourcing, but I can always just sit here and just keep piling up my items and getting them here and selling them and making those quick flips. Now, how about you, Bill?
What?
One tip for that somebody doesn't know about, and I know you have a lot of knowledge.
Well, gosh. Okay, when like Anthony, when you guys use the Walmart app, do you use that when you're looking for stuff that's on clearance and go to the different zip codes, go to the different stores and see if they have it in stock there?
I've never checked to see if other stores have it on stock on the app. I've used it for like scanning prices when in the store, but that's a good strategy. I never even thought to check other stores' stock or anything like that.
There's several Facebook and Instagram groups where they'll list specials all the time, and you can see the special, go to the store, and then or go to the store on your app and see if your store has that item in stock. A lot, sometimes something's clearance that was $80 is like $20 or something. They had tablets not too long ago. They were like RCA tablets. They were I think around $10 a piece. And the store closest to me didn't have them, so I changed the zip code to the next store. We have maybe 5 Walmarts in the area, so I'll just keep changing the zip code to the different one and see if they have them in stock. But also, before I bought the tablets or ordered them, because I was going to order like 50 of them, and then I read some reviews on them and I found out they were junk. So luckily I read the review before I bought them. I mean, people were selling them for like $40, but if they're junk, I don't want to buy a whole bunch of them and have a bunch of returns or have people upset about them. I guess the power didn't last long on them, and they just weren't very good quality.
Gotcha.
One thing I use to look at inventory, like I know with Walmart inventory, and it's rarely right, but for the most part, you can kind of get an idea. Like I'll use Brickseek, and it will tell me like I paid the $9.99, and it will tell me basically anything that's in a car drive, like a 1-day car drive for me. It will tell me all the inventory from all the Walmarts of all the product. They'll tell me what's trending, what's the newest deals, what's all this different stuff like that. So it's one thing that I used, and there's a free version that they have too. It just doesn't show you as wide of a area, but you can switch your zip code if you wanted to get a wider area. You get additional features as well.
All right, now let's see.
Anthony, went back to your wrestling. Have you tried CBD for your back?
I have, yeah.
Did it work for you at all?
It helps take the edge off a little bit, but it doesn't like fully take care of it. But yeah, I do. I vape CBD pretty much every day.
I was in a Jeep wreck in the late 80s, and we flipped end over end 3 times, and I messed up my back. It hurts all the time. Some days worse than other days. I've thought about trying it. I'm just curious as to somebody that used it, if that had any results.
Yeah, I like it. I know other people too that use it and they like swear by it. Like it's like been a game changer. For me, like with it being a little bit more severe of an injury, it still helps. So like I continue to buy it and, invest money into it, but it doesn't like fully take away the pain or anything like that for me. But, any little bit more comfort I can add to my day, I'm all for.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. So we got a question from Callie Picker, which I think this is a good question right here. By the way, huge shout out to Cali Picker. He's going to be going into surgery on Wednesday, and I think it's Virginia on Virginia's channel. She'll be doing a prayer for him, and on Wednesday morning, I believe it's 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Okay, Eastern, yeah. And I've been talking to Cali Picker because me and Bill, we kind of came up at the same time, and he is definitely one of us. So it kind of hits all of us hard, and he's a really good guy. I've leaned on him so many times with me and with the stuff I went on in the past with burning out, and likewise, we've always been there for each other, and it's hard for all of us, especially him. And I can't believe he can still crack jokes about things. And but we're definitely all praying for you on Wednesday, buddy, and hope to hear from you soon too. But he has a question. Can everyone remember the first thing you sold? His was a $15.99 brooch.
I remember. The first thing I sold it was in 1998. I hadn't been on eBay very long, and I was looking for something to sell because I wanted to try listing something. So I was just looking through listings that were on there, and I had this little Damn Things troll. Was from 1965, and it was sitting on my desk. Some I'd had in my toy box since I was a little kid, and I thought, well, I'll just I didn't have a very good camera, but I took some pictures of it and listed it. I put it up for an auction because a lot of people did auctions back then, and so I put it up to auction. I think I started at like $9.99 or something, and it sat for like a day or two, and it was getting a lot of watchers. And then as the days went on, I started getting bids, and it got bid up to like $250, and I was like, thinking I was hitting the jackpot with it. And then people started asking me a lot of questions. People asked me for more pictures. They asked me if it had pink glass eyes, which it did, and it had mohair on the tail. Had a tail, had mohair on it, and there was one person asked me if they were putting together a book, I guess, on trolls, and they asked me if they could use my photographs in their book, and I was like, yeah, sure. So I thought that was pretty cool. But when once I put in the messages that it had pink glass eyes, I added that to the description, and then more people started bidding on it. And when it finally closed, it just kept going up and up and up as the auction was ticking down, and I kept refreshing my screen, and it was, I think it ended about 12 o'clock or 12:30 in the morning, and the final bid on it was $650.
Wow.
I was hooked on eBay then.
And how much did you pay for that?
I didn't pay anything for it. I had it in my toy box since I was a kid.
Wow.
I have no idea where it came from. I probably picked it up at a garage sale when I was a little kid.
That's huge. Now, how about you, Anthony?
First thing I ever sold on eBay was a Mark McGuire rookie card, like the one where he's in like the USA outfit. It was like real expensive back in the day before all the steroids and everything came out. But essentially what I used eBay for back in the day was just to like boost like my card collection and my video game collection. So like stuff that I either had doubles of or like, for example, I would go and I would buy up a bunch of video games at like yard sales or whatever, and I'd keep what I needed for my collection, sell off the rest. Just keep building the collection that way. So essentially that's what I would do. In the beginning, it was mainly like 64 games and like baseball, football cards, that kind of stuff. But yeah, the first one was Mark McGuire rookie.
And you sold that for how much? I think my earpiece might have fell out.
I think it was $300 back then.
Nice. And it goes to the point where I think a lot of people in the back end a long time ago, everyone, that's how like eBay started. Basically, it was like a hobby site. People wanted to buy to get their collection. I know for me, it was a lot of fashion clothes back in the day. For me it was like, I think it was like 99, 2000. I used to get made in front of at the first car dealership I worked at, because I had, regular clothes, just like, I don't want to say bummy clothes, but I mean, I didn't really see a need in fashion clothes. And I lived in a high-end area in outside of Boston, and I used to get made in fun of. So one day I just started looking up stuff on eBay, and I couldn't believe how cheap the clothes were compared to going to like a one of those stores down in into Boston, like a Louis Vuitton store or Yves Saint Laurent store. So I thought I was really fascinated by that. I wish I got into thrifting then, even though I had one of the guys I co-worked for, because he mentioned to me, he's like, have you ever thought about thrifting? I'm like, no. Because I always just think of Goodwill was where all the poor people shop, because that's where I think when at my day and age, when I grew up, that's what everybody said. Oh, you shop at, what was it saying? Oh, you shop at Goodwill or something like that back then.
Yeah, where'd you get your clothes? Goodwill?
Yeah. So for me, I had no clue until like the mid 2000s. I was like, wow, this is actually a gold mine.
Yeah.
And I thought that was amazing back then. But no, that for me was fashion clothes. That's what really got me started on eBay buying. Now, how about you, Nate? What was your first pickup and flip?
My first pickup and flip. First thing I grabbed when I started reselling was clothes. It was like the polo shirts, jerseys,
Yes.
things of that nature. Like I was working with a very small budget because, like I was saying earlier, like I was on workman's comp, so I just had whatever was left out of my paycheck. I don't know what it was at the time, but it wasn't much. And I went on Sundays for the dollar day, and then I started getting inventory that way or whatever. So, but yeah, that was the first thing I started getting was the clothes, just because I saw that that Mike Voodoo was was thrifting and getting his clothes for $1, and I'm like, he sold that for 25. You know what I mean? So that was my thought about it, like just reselling. Like I could spend $1, make possibly 20, and cover shipping as well, and sell for 25. You know what I mean? So I just thought that was amazing.
Yeah. That actually, when you were saying that, it actually brought something up to me. Like, what I'm starting to notice is some of these like clothing retail stores. Like, I'll go into Dillard's, right? And I think they obviously know what's going on now, because like everybody's going to thrift stores and buying vintage clothes and stuff. Now they're actually, buying your used goods and putting it in their store, and of course for a crap ton of markup. But when you think about it, it makes sense. So like, say if you went out and you bought a video game and we're able to buy it for $1 or $2, and then we're able to flip it to somebody for $50, $55. I mean, that makes sense, right? I see why a lot of these retail companies are coming for, not for us essentially, but they're coming for this type of game. And I think it's funny that actually we're able to get on this before they even jumped into it. But it's kind of a little, when you think about it, what does the future hold for everybody like us? Because those type of big companies are able to set limits for a lot of people, like, hey, because they have unlimited amount of money. Whereas us, we try to scale up. So we're a lot smaller. So we're back in that same game. Now we're competing with them instead of having it all to ourselves. Is that how you guys also feel? Maybe like anyone that wants to talk, by the way.
As things go, I mean, all the other companies are closing, and it's either you get big or you go bankrupt. For the most part, it's going to be very interesting to see, how the used stuff from like Goodwill. I mean, you see what they're doing now. A lot of them are on eBay selling, and offer up. They have some type of deal going on, from what I understand, and it's good. And I mean, just like for me, sourcing from Amazon, for example, like pretty soon, like what stores are going to be left for me to source from? You know what I mean? Like, am I only going to be able to source from like blowout stores, the ones that buy like the stuff Walmart don't want, or these other stores don't want for cheap, and then they resell it? And then am I going to be able to just pick up Walmart clearance? I mean, that would really make it hard for any reseller, to do like that, for the Amazon resale side of it. Like for the eBay side of things, like that would hurt as well, because some people, do the RA for eBay, and then, the garage sales would always still be pretty strong regardless, because everyone's always throwing away treasures from time to time. So there's always something to find. But yeah, I mean, who knows what, reselling in general 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what's going to look like compared to what it is right now.
I think OA is going to grow a lot over those years, because I really believe ECOM is the future. So I believe right now, like all of us are in on the ground floor of something that's going to just continue to explode. But I really think that a lot of the RA that a lot of us rely on, as retail becomes more and more phased out, we're going to have to get better with the online arbitrage. Just you know, kind of like you do, Nate. Like every time I'm hanging out with this dude, he's always like scouring the internet for some deals.
He's hungry.
He's
That's
like
what it
the
is.
Yoda of online arbitrage.
Do either one of you guys do liquidation or pallets?
No, we were considering combining money to get some pallets because his dad has a warehouse here in Pittsburgh. So we were considering doing, you know, a couple pallets. We just haven't gotten into it yet, just with being so busy with other things.
The guy that we go buy stuff from, he buys pallets and all kinds of things like that. He has his own warehouse store, and it just keeps growing. He gets bigger and bigger all the time. That is with Goodwill. They've got an online auction site of their own. Plus, they have a couple of eBay sites or eBay auction sites. I think they're on Amazon too. And then they've opened a lot of stores that they call boutique stores, where they sell their higher end items and putting it in their regular store. I don't know. Whenever I have anything, I donate, you know, stuff a lot. Used to donate trailer loads of stuff when I had a lot of storage units. And I always took stuff to Salvation Army or this church place in Decatur that they just put stuff out and let people come and get it.
So, Nate, you're not doing pallets, but weren't you doing something else? Wholesale? Was it wholesale?
Yeah, I just started getting into wholesale. I'm trying to get ungated in different categories and brands for Amazon. So this way that, you know, when you go into the store, you know, you don't scan something and then it's like the most amazing rank and the profit's insane and it's like gated and then you have to put it back on the shelf. And then you go look at eBay and it's like, I only make $1, put it back on the shelf. You know what I mean? So I want all the doors of Amazon to open up. Like for my first year, you know, I feel like doing it, you know, on top of a full-time job, I did pretty well. And I hope to double my sales at least this year. For one, because the first couple of months of last year, you know, I was just getting my inventory set up and, you know, just kind of learning the platform and what can I sell, what can I, and you know, this year I just really want to hit it hard, and I'm starting to already get some different stuff ungated, so it's going to be interesting to see how things keep going on this point going forward.
Yeah. Nate's brilliant when it comes to Amazon. He really is. Like, I've been super impressed, just like kind of learning the platform under him and everything like that. Like he knows what he's doing, like on a major level.
Yeah, I know me and Nate, we've talked for hours behind the scenes in private chats, and I know you have a lot of goals. And you're a guy, the type of guy that I can feed off that because I'm the same way. I can easily get sidetracked, but when I hang out with somebody like any of you guys on here, I know I can hold myself accountable and be like, okay, well, he's doing this. I need to step my game up and try something else. Like when I go to like the bins or something, I see a lot of books there. And I remember, who was it back in the day? Andrew Bill from, what was his name? Andrew Picking Profits.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember him just killing it in books. And then everyone's like, oh, well, the book market back then got flooded. Is that how it is nowadays? Because I see some of these books. I'm like, they look like really good textbooks. I see Dumpster Diver Dad from Scott from there. He's killing it. He sold a book, I think, last week for $230. Maybe I'm just not savvy in it, and I'd like to get savvy in it, but I don't want to put too much on my plate. Would that be like the easiest place for me to start on Amazon? Is just do FBA with books, or do I have to get ungated for that too? This is how new I've never sold on Amazon.
Books are pretty much open for the most part.
You gotta be careful with textbooks because they're going after a lot of people. They went after Amazon, they went after eBay. Now they're going after the sellers themselves.
Why are they doing that?
Because they're greedy and they don't want other people selling their textbooks. They'll buy one from you and say it's counterfeit and open a case, and then they'll sue you about it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
When I started on Amazon, I think it was mid 90s, around 95 or 96, and it was pretty much all books back then. And you know, there wasn't anything you were gated in. There wasn't, you know, but they kept adding products. And I still, if I sell something on Amazon, I can take payment, you know, I can take payment every 24 hours because I don't have, I don't know. I guess it's just something new they did a few years ago. But I got into Amazon pretty heavy a few years back, and I think between January and March I had about $40,000 in sales. But when you figure out, you know, your shipping fees, your Amazon fees, your cost of goods fees, I think I only ended up clearing like $4,500 on it. But it was a learning experience. I made a profit, and you know, that still $4,500 in a couple months wasn't bad.
That's the biggest thing that I've learned between eBay and Amazon is eBay, you can take a little bit of money and turn it into a lot of money. Whereas like Amazon, you take a lot of money and you turn it into a little bit of money.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like for a lot of the items that I send in are like, I get for like $1, I might make $1 or $1.50, $2, you know, on it, like nothing major. Whereas if I'm spending $1 on something for eBay, then I'm getting like a minimum of like $10 or $20 for it. You know what I mean? So it's like you need to kind of gauge your expectation in that regard of how much you're planning to make. But I mean, the nice thing about Amazon is the things sell so much faster. And if you get good items, it's like almost a guaranteed sell.
I see D flipping particles. She says her book guy got sued and he got settled for $10,000.
Oh, whew.
Wow.
Wow, that is sad. We're in that day and age of suing people that, you know, are just small time sellers. You know, local. I would say local mom and pop. Basically, that's what a lot of us are. And when you're getting sued by people that are a lot bigger than you, that's kind of, man, that's messed up.
My wife says she don't hear my cha-ching. I put my phone on mute.
How many have you sold?
Let me see. I think just one. Yeah,
I sold. Me and you are tied 1-1. How about you guys? Have you guys sold anything since being on here yet?
No, not since we've been on here.
No. Right as I got out the car, about 5 minutes before I hopped into the initial chat, I sold something.
What'd you sell?
I sold a NECA Ninja Turtle set for $55 plus shipping.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Check this out. Earlier today, I looked at my app. You know, they updated the app. Earlier today, I looked at it and it said I had 24 that needed recommended item specifics. Now it says I have 70 needed item specifics. So it looks like eBay's screwing around again.
Yeah, I think that was part of. Weren't you guys talking about the other day? That was part of the new seller update. They're kind of messing around with the item specifics again.
Yep.
And then they said don't touch it or something. What did they say? They said don't touch it because it's going to be it'll be put back where it belongs or something like that.
Well, I like when I'm listing a hat and they ask me what the capacity is. I say 1 human head.
1 human head.
I sold 2 things. I sold a Care Bear. And I sold a Tasmanian Sega Genesis game.
Okay.
How much you get on that?
Tasmanian, that's not a very good one. It sold for 15. Care Bear sold for 11, but it's just a small one.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see what else? Where they changed the total? It says
to 90 days, right?
Yeah, they changed it to 90 days. Because I looked on there and I was like, what the hell did I sell? I was like, oh, they changed it to 90 days.
I don't even know why they even play with that. Like, I don't know what they're 60 and 90 days.
Sales, so they're trying to make you feel better about it.
That could be. But I have no clue. I mean, I know you guys had a whole dedicated, your guys' morning show, the ECOM show. What do you guys think about these updates? And what do you think about the managed payments?
I'm not a fan of managed payments. Granted, I'm not on managed payments, so I can't speak from experience. I know people that like it. I know people that hate it. The reason I don't use it is because I have a PayPal working capital loan. It's just about paid off, but I committed to making PayPal my primary whenever I took that loan, so I want to see that through. I may switch over after. I'm not sure yet. I know eBay has already sent me an email offering me a working capital loan through eBay. So something I might look into. I'm not entirely sure. I know they're going to eventually force us over there anyway. So I don't know.
They sent me an email telling me I had to join by October something or other.
Oh, really?
I went and opened a checking account just for eBay. It's even says eBay on the checking account because I don't want them messing with my regular account because they'll be able to, you have to give them permission. They can put money in, take money out whenever they want.
Yeah.
And I hear a lot of people saying that it takes days or weeks to get their money.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's still the case or if they've sped it up, but I like PayPal. I can sell something and go buy a candy bar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to wait for my money to clear or whatever.
Well, the nice thing with PayPal is you can use your money in PayPal immediately to even pay for shipping, whereas managed payments at this point, you can't use that money towards shipping because you're waiting to get paid out on it.
Yeah, you have to use your own money to pay the shipping and then wait for them to get around to send it to you. And then what was it else? Oh, the only reason they weren't able to force me into managed payments is because I have global shipping on all my listings. So they didn't offer at the time, when they was forcing everybody into it or some of them into it. They couldn't offer the global shipping with the managed payments for some reason. So I've got global shipping on all my stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was part of the update, was they're making global shipping part of managed payments now.
Yep.
Well, that was one reason I didn't want to join because I get a lot of international sales and I don't want to, not have those. Of course, Canada, I offer first class shipping on anything under 4 pounds.
Yeah.
Because I think Canada kind of gets screwed on that, being they're our border country and they have to pay all the other stuff up, eBay's extra fees on that. Now, see what a lot of people don't understand though is that global shipping also includes their import
fees
stuff. Yeah. So they're like, well, it's so high. Well, then they get the thing and they're like, well, why did I have to pay? I already paid shipping. Why do I have to pay import fee? Well, you should know that you can buy from other countries. Do you use global shipping, Kevin?
Yeah, I use global shipping on everything. I'll get global shipping sales, and then I'll also get regular standard sales. And I've actually just started using that new service that they have. Was it eBay International Standard or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
And I've gotten a few of them, and it seems smooth because what it is I believe they put $100 of insurance on there for you whenever it goes overseas. So if you have anything wrong with it, then I believe it. I think I'm correct, but they do have insurance on there for you.
Don't use that.
Sorry, what?
Do they have tracking on that too?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why I like the global shipping because that's one reason I like. And I don't think with the eBay's new shipping policy, I don't think they have that. But with the global shipping, once it touches their hands, you're done with it.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't get to the customer or it gets destroyed or whatever happens, you don't have to worry about it once they receive it. But I think with the new shipping thing, I don't think they offer that on it, do they? Do you know?
I think the newer thing that eBay is doing with the shipping is just like an answer to the Pirate Ship Simple Export, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like their version of it. I'll offer both. It just depends. Like if I feel a little sketchy about the sale, I always go global shipping. But
I use Pirate Ship, like Amazon sales, Bonanza sales, Mercari sales, or not Mercari. Does Mercari send you? I can't think. Does Mercari send you a shipping label?
Yeah,
you can do a shipping label, or you can ship it your own. That's what's good about. That's what I really like about Mercari because I'll do free shipping on everything, and I'll use my own label most of the time because I'll do free shipping. I'm going to ship it instead of them shipping, because I don't know they're because I don't. Mostly it's closed, so I know it's going to be under the pounds that they give you. So I don't want to be charged more when I can get it cheaper off of. I think it was Cat Picker that was talking about Pirate Ship. So I'll use my Pirate Ship account and just what I'll do is manually enter their name and their information in it, and then just pack it up and send it out.
You guys really need to check out you guys really need to check out Simple Export for Pirate Ship. That is the way to go. It's cheaper than eBay numbers from what I've seen. I haven't looked at the whole list of per weight, per size, or whatever they're doing, but from what I've seen, Simple Export's definitely the way to go because anything under 4 pounds, you're paying a flat rate for
Right.
like to Canada to the rest of the world. Like there's two different prices. Like for example, if an item was under a pound, it's like right under, like not under a half pound or above a half pound, but under a pound. It's $10.95 to ship to Canada. So that's really cheap compared to.
Yeah,
That's a good price.
And then if you want insurance, like say you're sending something out, it's $99. It's $1.30 for $100 of insurance. So you're covered with that, and you get tracking. I haven't had anything not have tracking yet, and then probably about 25% of my eBay sales are international.
I actually had to go to pirate ship because when I first restarted up again, I used my old account, and I guess I owed them like 150 to get my account back in the good. So I gave them the 150, but for some reason something happened with the shipping, and I wasn't able for a long time. I called in a few different times and I couldn't fix it to open me where I could ship it straight from eBay. So what I just did a quick Google search. Actually, no, I think I was in my Thrifting Lounge group and I said, hey, would you guys use an alternative as eBay to eBay shipping? And they said pirate ship. And I haven't gone back since day one. I mean, they have, even for bigger items, they're better ship, a lot better prices than eBay.
Awesome.
And I have no clue how they do it. Because I mean, when you think about it, eBay is getting cheaper prices from USPS, and this private company, Pirate Ship, I have no clue how they're doing it, but they're doing it, and they must be making some money off it.
It's cubic. They go by cubic.
Well, they have bulk pricing just like eBay does. eBay gets bulk pricing because they have so much shipping. That's why Amazon can ship stuff for almost nothing.
Yeah.
But, you know, I used to use, I have a free stamps.com account. I don't know. I guess some people have to pay for it, I've heard, but I didn't.
Yeah, you got to pay for stamps.com.
I never have.
Wow.
I signed up for them years ago, and they sent me a scale, and it was junk. But I mean, I whenever I needed to print a label, that's what I did. And then when Pirate Ship came out, I checked them out, and at first I didn't think much of it, but then I started looking at their cubic rate and stuff, and I've been using them for a long time now. I probably still got money in my stamps.com account, but I haven't even opened that app in a long time.
Yeah.
I see somebody asked if any of us have ever used Sendle. I've tried Sendle before. I still find Pirate Ship to be cheaper, so I just stuck with Pirate Ship.
I've never even heard of it.
Sendle, like to get like they'll say like 75 inches is this and that, If you do if you measure a package, say it's 8 by 5 by 5, you take 8 times 5 and then times that by 5, and then you're way over the largest number for anything you're shipping. So unless you're accidentally doing it wrong, it's not cheaper to use or whatever. And I think the only way that you might be able to do good is if you're shipping out really heavy, smaller packages. You know, it might save you $1, and that's probably if you pay for their monthly fee or whatever that they charge for their best rates, I guess you could say.
See, I'm not gonna pay for the pleasure of doing business with them.
Yeah, it's really like I guess you could say like a niche shipping, because like I said, it has to be really small, but if it's heavy, you're okay. Like it has to be heavy and small for it to be worth it to use them guys.
You know, it's just like these cross-listing programs. I would rather pay a per item fee than to pay a monthly fee. Because once I have it cross-posted, I really don't need their service until I have something else I want to cross-post.
Well, I'm sure Anthony can get into this with Vendu. And Anthony, like he had me hooked the other day, was it a couple weeks ago, talking about Vendu. Vendu Crew, I was just going to say that.
Sorry,
oh, man, you pulled it up before I could say it. I'm surprised not in here. Rick rolling you on here. Trolling you guys.
Just
Nate using the list perfectly. I didn't see that much. And I think Vendu was cheaper, maybe. That cross post it was even cheaper yet, but I mean it just doesn't do any of the work for you hardly.
Vendu
Crew.
Did you guys ever figure out who that Vendu Crew is?
I have no idea, but I wrenched him on my channel.
I know. I thought that was awesome.
Oh, those aren't the guys that do it, though, are they? There's 2 guys I think running it, aren't in it?
No. These are trolls. Not trolls. They just like to play with Nate. and have a good time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Plug the
actually,
trip.
you guys, there's two guys doing that, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I
It's,
know they're a small company. Believe it or not, I actually sent them an email just letting them know I was a fan of their service, and I told them about the morning show we do. And at the end of March, they're actually going to come on to our morning show, which is pretty cool.
Congrats! That's awesome.
Thanks.
That's big
You
right
want to be on
there.
that one, Nate?
I might be sick that day. Maybe they'll fix my Vendu before they come on the show in about a month. I'm still waiting for a response back from their tech team.
Over the years, says he uses Listly. Now, what's the difference? I know we went into it on your guys' show, but what's the difference between, for the people that are watching, Listly and Vendu?
I've never used Listly, so I'm not sure.
It's List Perfectly.
List Perfectly, my bad.
Oh yeah, List Perfectly it's a little bit older than Vendu, so it's been around a little bit longer, so they've had more time to get rid of the bugs and everything like that. I've never used List Perfectly, full transparency. They didn't have a beta program where, like, their beta, you still had to pay to be a part of it. So I ended up going with Vendu because they were free for a while. They literally just started charging people, like, I don't know, about a month ago, maybe a little bit more.
Up for them the day after they started charging. Damn it!
Gotcha. Yeah, and if you were part of their beta program, they actually give you, what is it, like 25% off for the first 6 months. So right now I'm paying like $18, and I have the added feature where I can cross post from eBay too. Like I take my listings that I did not even in Vendu, and I can send them to like any platforms I want.
I would like to see other sites like Poshmark and Macari be like Bonanza, where you go on Bonanza and it automatically imports all your listings for you.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything. You just tell it to import your listing, sign it, give it the token. And I mean, I'll have Bonanza's not that big of a site. It doesn't get a lot of traffic, but I still have 4 or 5 sales a month from them.
Yeah.
And that's sales. A lot of times the stuff has been sitting on eBay for a while.
I've heard from a lot of people.
You see what Ben Flipping Hardgood said?
Yeah,
our boy Wes. I heard he's going to be coming on your guys' show.
nice.
Yeah, yep. He
That's
says Vendu sucks. Worked once for me, never again. Now they want money. That sounds way familiar. I mean, sheesh. Sheesh.
You know what though? Like, the only issue I've ever had with them is I needed to uninstall the Chrome extension and then reinstall it every time they update. You need to reinstall the extension, or else
that makes sense. It's a different. But yeah, the old extension wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm. So that's really the only issue I've ever had. Other than that, another tip is, like, if you keep Macari and Poshmark open in other app or other Windows, I believe is what it is.
Yeah.
That way it'll connect a little easier. Sometimes if you don't have them open in another tab, it doesn't like pull it as good.
Yeah, Cross Post it was the same way. They suggested that you had the other ones open in another tab. See, the thing I didn't like about Cross Post, I can't remember if Vendu did it too, and I haven't used List Perfectly yet, so I can't say about it. But on the Cross Post, when I download or it puts a thing up there, browser extension, I guess it is, and so you open up your eBay page that you want to cross post the item, and you hit the thing, and it downloads the photos to your hard drive into download directory, and then or download folder, and then you go over to Poshmark or wherever you're listing it to. I think Macari was the one. It was Poshmark. I was trying to remember which one was the free one because you have to pay to get the other ones. But it imported. You had to fix your title because it imported the title over, too many characters, and it put in some of the. It only put in some of the item specifics, but I had to go through the whole thing, and click this, check that, do all that stuff, and then afterward, then I had to go find the folder, download folder, and upload my pictures, which was a pain in the ass. I mean, if I got to go through all that work, I'm just going to do the listing myself. It'd take me less time than trying to go all over trying to figure everything out just to, import my pictures. I've got pictures on my hard drive going back to 2003, I think, of everything I've listed.
That's too. It's like, dude, you are like such a hoarder. You don't want to get rid of anything. You don't want to part with any of your stuff in your garage or your warehouses. You don't want to part with your pictures from like 1995. Like,
I started on eBay in 98.
98, whatever, doesn't matter. You have pictures going back like, what was it back then? Like 5 megapixels in a camera. Like how nice and crisp do those pictures have to be?
I think it was 4 megapixel on that first listing.
I was close. I was randomly just calling out megapixels.
I was surprised with that high.
It might not have been. I bet that was only 2 megapixels, because that would have been my first digital camera. So it was probably only about 2 megapixels. My first.
Nicholas Parker has a good question. He just started out my channel. I've been selling for about 6 months. What do we sell? What is our I would say our main niche? Like when we go to a garage sale, what gets our what is it? Our whistle wet? Is that what they say?
Video games, electronics.
Yeah, I would say if I had to pick one thing, it'd probably be video games. But I don't really have a specific niche. Like if it makes money, I'll sell it. But if I had to like pick one, it would definitely be video games.
See what the chat. Other people hoard their photos too.
I like the electronics, video games, but the one thing I really do like a lot too is sneakers, shoes, Nikes, Jordans. They get really good resale value, and there's a big following of them. So you get sneakerheads that will pay $200 for a decent pair, really nice, once worn pair of shoes or something that you can get for $5 or whatever. People throw them away, so people get like the workout shoes and things like that. So I made a lot of money yard sale season just buying. There was a lady selling like a bunch of Nikes and other brands, and they're like $1 a piece, and she looks like she wore them once, like literally. And I sold them all for like 20 and up. And then I had one pair that sold for $99.
It's like those people that buy a bicycle and just hang it in their garage and never ride it for like, so it hangs up there for like 20 years and then they just want it gone.
Or it's like I always equate to this, because we always have them, and no matter what, it always seems that people that buy the Corvettes, they garage keep those things, and they're not like the people that buy the Mustangs. The Mustangs, they get use out of it, they beat it up, they use it. But it seems like the Corvette people, they don't want to drive it because it's, I don't know, maybe it's so pretty or it's a collectible, but they just put it right in the garage. And then more often than other, you'll find a lot of them where it's like 10, 15 years old and they only have less than 10,000 miles on it. I've never seen somebody so into their car like that. Like I feel like it's the only ones that are newer cars that would do that. They don't drive them. They just want to keep them garage kept and save them.
It's because it costs too much to insure them. And when something breaks on them, it's too expensive to fix.
Yeah, they're one of the most, I don't know. You could always put a Haggerty policy on them because it's a high-priced item, but that's for a different discussion.
You're in good hands with Kevin.
Oh, it's the insurance coming out with me, guys.
I used to be like that with life insurance and accident health and annuities. Somebody would say something and just be, they just are totally wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
or you get the people always like, well, my friend next door says that they're paying this. And I'm like, you're not that person, though. You're consumer credit, right? You may not be as good as them. You may not have long tenure with that current company you're with. It's just specific. And it's different with every company, though. So they don't understand it, but they think they do. And I sit there and I just laugh. And I'm like, okay. And I try to help them out the best I can. But you do get some of the older ones seem to be very, very stubborn. But we had another, what was the other question? Soldier Up and Resell. He's a new follower to all of us. I think he subscribed to all of us the last few days.
I'm subscribed.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. I've been talking to him privately today. I'm going to try to get him on one of our shows, maybe the reseller meet and greet. The reseller reunion. We don't do the meet and greet. We used to. The Reseller Reunion show one of these weeks. A really nice guy, good story. He's active in the military, and he does part-time eBay, him and his wife. So what was the question? What are people's pick and source pattern?
Depends on the time of year, to be honest with you, just because Pennsylvania is super cold, throughout the winter and early spring and everything like that. So that really kills like any kind of yard sale opportunities. That's my absolute favorite way to source those yard sales. So during yard sale season, like every Friday and Saturday, I'm like hitting it hard. Pretty much until they're all closed. And then even when people are packing up, I'm normally there driving by at the van trying to pick up any of the stuff that they're just like leaving out for trash or for people to come and take for free.
Maybe stop watching.
And,
you know that?
So that's pretty much what I'm doing throughout like yard sale season. But this time of year, what I'll do is a lot of retail arbitrage. I'll go thrifting a whole lot. I'll do a lot of like the bins and stuff like that, just to kind of get me through the winter. So it really just depends on the time of year.
Now when you're going on the doing the garage sales, for me, I go on apps. So I'll go on like Craigslist, or I'll go to the garage sale app. What about, do you both use that too?
Yeah, I use the yard sale treasure map, and then I'll check the Facebook groups too, because I'm already friends in those groups, and they'll post basically like a map thing. Here's our community sale we're having 2 weeks from now. So I'll put a big circle on that one on my calendar and saying like, yeah, I'm going to that one because there's like 60 or 80 houses in like 8-block radius or 5-block radius that are chock full with just tons of stuff. And then some of them we even put a description of like, we have video games, we have electronics, we have clothes, baby stuff or whatever. So I can kind of go here first, and then we're gonna hang a right and hit this place. I mean, I'm able to like map out like by by what they're telling me what they have, like from first to last, depending on priority. And I guess you could say like, because I mean, let's face it, if you go to a yard sale that has video games and other things, you're going to have either pickles, or you're not going to see any type of video games at all. So you got to hit those fast and early.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say for me, like when I think my main source is like I was telling the guys before I got on here, I took the whole weekend off, and when I went Sunday out with one of my buddies I just met when I did a live dumpster dive for the first time, me and my girlfriend. Thanks. That was hilarious. We were just vlogging it, just having a good time. And Bill, thanks for reminding me. I need to get one of the headlamps the next time I go.
Yeah. If you go, I don't know which video it was, but do you watch Tucker and Sammy?
What's their channel?
What is their channel? I watch it all the time. I think it's Tucker Uppers, their channel. He got somebody sent him some company sent him some lights, and I tell you what, they're a little pricey, but I mean it's like wearing a freaking halogen headlight on your head. I mean, they weren't, not because they're big, they're small, but I mean the
angle
light that those things put out was just insane. We got rummage sales coming up, starting to come up here pretty soon. There's one, and I think my wife said it was in like 18 days. And then, the rummage sales are my favorite. I'll go in there and my wife and I will be like, first in line or whatever. And we'll get in there and just start. I've got my rummage sale bag is a big bag that has wheels on it and a handle.
You just stroll through.
It's like you guys know how big a hockey bag is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how big this bag is. It's like the size of a hockey bag, but it's on wheels and it's got a handle, so I can pull it around behind me. And it also helps, to keep other people at a distance.
Fight them off.
I just keep it out there, and they got to walk around me instead
It's
of.
like a giant barrier you make.
Yeah. So people are, because you go to the rummage sales and people are like right up on your back, trying to see over your shoulder and put their hands in front of you and stuff. And those are my Cutco knives.
I start getting territorial when someone's like when I'm at the bins and I see someone like getting really close to me. I have no problem putting it a little bit closer elbow to them to like, hey, listen, like I see what you're doing to everybody else over here, but when you come in my area, this is like, please don't. I give you all the room all the time. Like I'll even let them run. All right, I'll let them run at the bins, get their stuff, and then I'll just go walk around and I'll pick things, and I just do my own thing because I feel like it's too nerve-wracking, and I'm gonna find something anyways because I've found a lot of. She's even found a brand new tagged Louis Pulitzer dress, and that was like a half hour after they dropped the first bin, so there was plenty of time to go around. No one grabbed it. So we're obviously not looking for the same things they're looking for. So I'm not worried about that. So
not just that, they get in a rush and they're overlooking stuff because they get junk drunk and they don't see
junk drunk.
I like that term, junk drunk. I go garage sales, rummage sales, wherever sales I go to, auctions too. I walk around 2-3 times before I leave because I always find stuff I missed the first time.
Yeah.
And it gets a fog when you're seeing all this stuff. And
that's one thing. When I was with my kids' mom, I was always rushed. It was like always a rush. Always had to hurry up. And I feel like I overlooked a lot of the things, especially the women's section. So now with her, she goes to the women's section. I'll go to the men's section. And then I do what I call I check her work, where I actually go into her section and I even source. And I'll be like, hey, you missed this. You missed this. But no, I like it now because I'm able to relax and go up my own flow. And I'm a very slow shopper because I like to find I found so many things in the nook and crannies hidden in places. Mm-hmm. And it just so happens when I found a few things that were hidden in one place, I figured, okay, well, they got to be hiding more. And I found stuff actually that way too. Because some places at the Goodwills, they will hide stuff for later on for someone else to come and grab it. So, and the ones by my house are notorious for that. So I'm always, whenever I go to Goodwill, I always like to check everywhere. But for the most part, when I'm at like estate sales, stuff like that, for my thing is like estate sales. I absolutely love estate sales, especially the last day. I went to one Sunday morning with one of my buddies that is actually, I think he's probably watching us right now. Matt, big shout out to him. And we had a great time. The first estate sale we went to. So we go to the estate sale. The first one we go to, it was like 8:00 in the morning. It didn't open till 10. And I never looked at the app where it says, oh, opens at 10. I was like, oh my God, why is nobody here? So I was like, oh, great. This kid's going to think I'm a fool. I don't know what I'm doing. So we get in my car and we go like 2 miles on the road where we passed one already. And thank God we took that one because when we got out, it was like 3 clothing racks. And then it was like a rummage sale, the way they had other tables lined up with a bunch of clothes just on top of each other. And I'm thinking, okay, the first few I looked at, I'm like, okay, well, the prices are going to be ridiculous. Levi jeans for $10 a piece, right? But when I started grabbing the stuff and putting it on the tables, the lady noticed that's running the estate sale. She came over to me, and the owner was actually on property too. So she came over to me. She's like, and I have it all on my GoPro. She goes, hey, would you consider buying us out all of our clothes? And I was saying, I said to you guys earlier, I've never done a buyout. I have no clue what to look for or what to do. So I don't know. So I basically said, what are you guys looking for? Because I'm only, and I told her because I'm only looking for the cream of the crop, because I'm not trying to buy everything here. This is my first stop of the day. And then she goes, I'll be right back. And I said, you guys can keep whatever I don't want. She's like, okay. She comes back and she goes, well, we'll do $1 a piece. I got 186 pieces of premium, like sport jackets, blazers, overcoats, wool coats, even a possum coat. This stuff, even I think I did on 3 of them. There's this one brand. I don't remember the brand, but she just took photos of them tonight. They're selling the soldier going for $300 a piece. And I got 3 of them. So I should make at least $4,000 off of this stuff. And I only paid $225 total. I got some silver, what is it? A teapot or a tea
Cream
creamer and sugar thing from Rogers. And then I got the Elf. I got an Elf over there, the original one from 1986 with the tags on it. Those are comping out at like $60 to $80. And then I got an old school ET, but the head's broken. It's not broken, it just leans down. And it doesn't, but it lights up and talks. And those were comping out at like 120, but I don't know how much I could get for mine. And I'm fine with keeping it because I mean, it's ET. And so it has a little personal value to me, which is great for us. I mean, what is your guys' personal collection?
Mine is basically, at this point, the only thing I'm collecting is like Nintendo stuff. Now, I have other video game systems and stuff like that, but the only thing I'm like anal about must having is one of every single Nintendo system. I typed it in the chat a little bit ago. The only one I don't have in my collection is the Virtual Boy. And the reason for that is that's like kind of like my unicorn. That's like the one thing that I'm like wanting to find in the wild to add to my collection because I'm not paying $300 for a migraine. So like that's what I collect is like Nintendo stuff. I mean, I have like Sega stuff and like all the newer like Xbox, PlayStation, that kind of stuff too. But
what's your best piece? It doesn't have to be price wise, but maybe the most sentimental value to you.
Probably my Super Nintendo. Like that, I have the most nostalgia for that era of gaming because that was kind of when I was growing up.
Is that Virtual Boy that red and black thing that you wear on your head?
Yeah. Yep.
Isn't that like a failure for Nintendo?
Yeah, it was a major flop. But
I've got one of those or somewhere.
Do you?
Yeah, of course he does. Don't even ask him.
He's getting it in the wild if I buy it from you.
Well, if I have more than one, I'll sell you one. But
yeah,
he probably does. Probably has a dozen of them.
I don't know. I don't think I have a dozen of them, but I don't have a Jaguar system. That's when I.
Oh, the Jaguar. That's the one I was thinking about the other day. So, I was listening to you guys talking on your show, and I was like, man, what is that system? I grew up watching because they used to always run the infomercials at like 5, 6 in the morning, and it was the Jaguar. And I was like, I always wanted. It was too expensive for me. My parents they didn't want to, they bought us a Nintendo instead. But it was the Jaguar. I remember I was like, I used to do all the research on it. I would get books on it and everything, and I was just like, it was so bummed. Every year I wouldn't get it. It was a long time ago. I know that.
I almost got one time, and I think I bid it up to like $300. It was in the box and everything, but the reason it was so high was you had to buy the whole room. They were selling. Really? There was this house, and they didn't want to clean out the house, so they were just selling it room by room. You had to buy the whole room and empty it, and it was like. Yeah. it was pretty nasty in there. So I was like, no, I don't want it that bad. But I've got Amigas and Ataris and all those. I think there is one other one besides Jaguar I don't have, but the Jaguar's one I can think of right offhand that I don't have.
What about you, Nate?
Honestly, the only thing I collect is dead presidents. That's all.
Money. I thought you collected Ninja Turtles too.
Nah, I mean, I like them. I mean, don't get me wrong, but just like my sale I just had on eBay, that was a NECA set. That.
Of course, I was gonna bring that out. He knew you were gonna be on.
That's awesome.
Which is kind of amazing that he would say Ninja Turtles because that's about all I have in here right now.
Wow, that's pretty weird. And then, so your collection is just money, which that's a great collection.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, right now, like I'm so, go trying to like boom my business that everything's for sale. So, well, not everything, but basically everything.
Well, no, that's what happens. You just get so motivated. You're like, okay, well, I know if I sell this, it's going to get me closer to where I want to be for a goal, or for me going full time. And that's exactly what you need to get to. Is like, hey, should I start selling off my collection? Because eventually you can always build that collection back up, right?
Right.
Down the road, because you're going to make enough money to supplement that income. Plus, you're going to end up going out to enough places where you're going to eventually run into the stuff that you want anyways.
Oh, yeah. Like I tell my wife, like, I rather sell all my stuff that I have collection-wise of my personal stuff. And now to live way better later. You know what I mean? Like to enjoy life later and just do whatever I want. You know what I mean? If I want to go, take a vacation for a month, just go do that or do whatever. You know what I mean? Like I want things to really be so awesome that I can just do whatever. You know what I mean? Like I want me and my wife to really enjoy our later years. And I'm not saying not enjoy the years now, but really just,
Set yourself up.
right. Just, really push hard. And then, maybe in 5 years, like, life is going to be really good. You know what I mean? Where I'm just, if I want something, I can just go buy it and not have to think about it, like, I can't take money out the business. You know what I mean? Like, I rather, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what I'm just doing now. I'm just totally just pushing all my chips forward, like, and just, if it's Amazon stuff, it's Amazon stuff. If it's eBay stuff, I'm grabbing it. If it's stuff that I think I can flip locally, I'll do it. But I don't do that too much of that. It's mostly the Amazon, eBay options. But I would love to, like me and Anthony's been talking about possibly getting some type of storefront or even just using my dad's warehouse, like we're
That'd be
like
nice.
what Bill was talking about with the pallets. Like the thing that's awesome, and there's a thrift store right next to my dad's building. So the only thing I need to do is put up a sign saying "Come thrift," and I got traffic instantly coming with no advertising, no nothing. Like the only thing I have to do is put like one little sign in the front, like "Come on in. I got better stuff than them." You know what I mean? Because I got pallets and new stuff, and I'll charge, like say stuff costs a buck a piece. If I do everything for $5, that place would go crazy. You know what I mean?
Unless you're going to want to stay there all the time, though, and you ain't going to want to waste your time staying there all day waiting for somebody to walk in the door. You're either going to have an employee or do like I like how I don't know if you guys watch Resell Rabbit.
Yeah,
I like the way he does it. He sets up, once a month, say. I don't think he does it that often, but say you do that once a month, so people get used to being on, a certain day, and you just kick open your doors. There's a guy over by New Haven. He had his Eagle products or something like that, and they'll every once in a while they'll just have a sale in their warehouse, and you go in there, and they're just continually raking in cash while they're open, and it's like they have all this. They buy pallets. And they have all this stuff laying around, on tables. But then down the one side, they also have pallets, and you can buy a pallet from them of stuff. Now, I don't know if they go through them and rewrap them or not, because I know that's one of the dangers of buying pallets secondhand. You have somebody buys a truckload of pallets. They tear the pallets down, take what they want, the good stuff out, wrap the junk back up, and they sell the pallet on to somebody else.
Like me and Anthony were talking about, just like, okay, for example, like when you buy pallets, chances are what's your biggest cost in buying the pallets? It's the shipping.
Right. The shipping costs more than the pallet.
Yeah. Like, so like with me and him say going in, like we're not like we're on the smaller side right now, like especially starting on buying pallets. But let's say we went together and instead of buying, say, just one or two and then paying all the shipping, now we're getting 8 for like close to the same price because we're not going to pay shipping. I'll go pick it up in my own truck and go pick it up and deliver it to the warehouse and then break it down, and then our price per item is going to be really cheap. And
or
then like how
just buy it.
Yeah, like how how you're talking about Resell Rabbit. His philosophy is awesome, where you get a bunch of stuff, you let it all go for really cheap, and then it's turn and burn. You know what I mean? You're making that profit. Then those 8 pallets turn into 16 or 20 pallets really quick, especially depending on what you're selling each item for or how good the pallets are and stuff. So
yeah, I don't worry about, some people are like, they get pissed off. I see it in the Facebook feeds. They get pissed off because so-and-so bought this from me and now they're selling it. Who cares? If you weren't happy with the price, they shouldn't have sold it for that price.
Right.
I like, when I can, give somebody a deal and they can turn around and make some money on it too. I got a guy that he buys stereo equipment from me, and I need to find some more for him because I haven't had it in a while. I probably have some on the back shelf, but I'll call him and I'll tell him how much money to bring, and he brings the money, and I was like, here's what I got for you. but he don't even, he don't try to screw me out. The first time I think he tried to get me to take a lower price, and I was like, it's worth it. I said, there's a lot left on there for you. And he's like, yeah, you're right. He paid me. So then after that, whenever he came over, he just, he's like, well, how much you want? I don't know how much I want. And he brings it and takes what I got.
Now I was thinking about this as you guys were talking about stepping out of your comfort zone. For me, last weekend, it was dumpster diving, which I think we're going to probably start doing every Friday or Saturday night. That would be pretty fun doing it live.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
I got to ask you something.
Yeah.
When I was watching, you were kind of turned aside, so I couldn't tell. Was you pulling your gloves off with your teeth?
No, I was like the. Put it
Okay.
off. I had somebody else ask that same question too. They're like, "Did you that way teeth?" I think she actually left a comment. No, I was like going to the side because I don't know. I just
thinking,
you noticed when I was still talking, you could still hear me talking down here if I was pulling it off. But no, I wasn't pulling off my teeth. But I'm surprised I didn't because my brain probably wasn't thinking fast enough. But thank God I did actually do it.
That's what I'm saying. Just being the first time you're out there, you don't even think about it. You just, I didn't pull that glove off.
Well, she just said she almost went in without gloves, and so I was like, I should have just let her go in. But I was like, no, babe, hey. You have gloves in your pocket. Don't forget to grab them, put them on. She's like, oh yeah. She was so excited to go into that dumpster. I mean, it was a lot of fun. And she kept telling me on the way home, she's like, we got to do that again. We got to do that again. It was so much fun. It's just because with us, we're kind of like, we have to be at this house almost at all times because she's trying to get full custody of her son. Right. So we don't have anybody to really watch her son. My kids, is on a split schedule, but right now she has them full time as she's trying to fight for the custody. So we have to be here with them. So what we'll do is we'll have my kid's mom, because she lives literally 5 minutes from me, on the way to go out where we're going. I'll drop them off there. She'll watch them and we'll come back a few hours later and pick them up. So that's how we're going to probably plan around that. But it was so much fun to get out of our comfort zone and just say, what the heck? Let's just do it. We see other people doing it. They're having a fun time. I have a fun time watching them. I want to step out of my comfort zone and try this. And look, I may have not found anything in there, which I tried really hard to. At least we got boxes that were put to use that next day with the lens that we sold and the 1800s the letter that I sold too that next day. So I had so much fun. It was a great time. And it was a lot of positive feedback too. So another thing I'm thinking about, because I was on Cooper States last week. They did an interview. It was their first time. They did it with me. And it really got me interested about, storage units. And everybody says, like, you got to be careful what you buy because there's a lot of junk in there. Be prepared to get rid of a lot of it. But to me, it's like a challenge. I mean, I don't want to get too many hands in the pot because then I start getting confused, blowing money, not knowing what I'm doing. That's the worst thing you can do is not know what you're doing. But I still think, with what they showed me and the little amount of time they've done it, it's actually absolutely amazing what they found. So that's why I'm always like trying to, and you guys have helped me with this too. Like I haven't really been interested in Amazon except for, Nate, you keep talking about Amazon. I'm like, man, that's something I haven't tried and I should have tried a long time ago.
You would love it.
I'm sure I would because quick flips, it's in and out and then it's numbers. Right. And I love numbers.
Right.
But I'm just scared that if I do it, I'm going to forget about eBay. And that's scary because eBay is a passion to me. I love eBay. That's where my heart is. But I think if I gave it enough time to learn Amazon, like more talking to you behind the scenes and learning it from you and like the Gilmans, I'd be able to figure it out and really be good at it. But that would probably be when I would go full time, just trying to take chances and stuff. Now, what do you guys want to try here? Because for me, when I used to do this, I was just strictly eBay. I didn't want to go anywhere else. Now I'm more active trying different things just to have fun and see where it goes. What about you guys? Do you guys plan on trying to do anything different here in the future?
I think I can't speak for Nate. We do have plans of eventually doing stuff together in business just because we're really good friends and we live close and everything like that. But I just plan on expanding upon everything I'm doing currently. Plus, Nate and I are going to be getting into some storage units and stuff pretty soon, actually. I have a bunch of bids out right now, so those all end in like 8 or 9 days. So see kind of how that goes, and hopefully we'll get some pretty good stuff. But I would like to get more in storage. If I could, physically, I would probably even do clean outs, but I just can't do it until I get a little bit bigger and have at least somebody working for me. But even with Nate's warehouse and stuff, like that opens up so many opportunities, that we'd be able to like really just move in anytime we need to. Once we scale to that point, I think I'd probably want to wait till like Nate's full time though, just so we got all of our T's crossed and I's dotted.
I think you guys would be really good at like a storefront or, like you said, a little warehouse and scale up that way. I mean, I always look at Rally Roots. We can do the same thing that they can do. You know what I mean? Hire a couple hands like they do. It makes them really good money. That's why I look up to them as like they're really good at what they do, and they have a great system. And I feel like a lot of us could get there and use them as a platform to get there too.
I really like their new place.
What?
I really like their new place.
Yeah, that is really nice, and that's not a cheap area of where they live. But I think a storefront for you guys would be really nice. Now, a lot of people say that the brick and mortars don't work. They may not, but I'll take this for instance. We went up to Gainesville, right, for Hurricane Dorian last year. We got evacuated there, and her dad lives up there. And what I do, first thing I do, I'm like, we got to go thrifting. So we're there for 4 days, just wait for this hurricane to finally hit us, right? So we went to a few thrift stores, but we went to this one thrift store that really had a niche for the younger hipster crowd. Like they had the vintage clothing. It was like all vintage clothing, a lot of the street style clothing, and they are really, really successful at what they do. I think that's something that you guys could do. Find a niche like the video games and stuff where people can actually come and hang out, not just hang out, but just chill. So like in this store, they had like a big store, and it wasn't just clothes. There was a back area where you can hang out. There was like video games there.
Nice.
What is that? Not video games. Yeah, video games, and then the what's that? Joysticks you play. Arcades too. And then they also had like a lounge area and a vaping area. So it wasn't just a store. It was more of a place to buy stuff, shop, have a good time.
Yeah.
And just give back. And their pricing they weren't that expensive at all. I bought some stuff to flip. And if I have more money I brought with me, I probably would have spent another $100, $200 in there. But there were pieces that I felt like it was out of somebody's collection. They just decided to sell because it was racks and racks of these street style clothes, and like the clothes that we pick up in thrift. But I think that would be like something that would hit for you guys too. Like maybe get like a video game area, sell video games and other things. It just nowadays you got to do something and I think it's the same with YouTube. You got to do something different than everybody else to connect with people, because it could be hit or miss.
We actually used to have a room down in the basement of my church that I literally took in all of my old systems, and I had like little like tube TVs set up like all around this room with like every one of my systems hooked up. So for when we'd have youth group, we'd have basically kids come in and they'd act like they were in like an arcade. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think difference. I think that's one thing that I think of nowadays is, you had certain styles in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Well, now we're at a spot where we kind of are more independent nowadays, independent thinking. So we have our own style. I mean, like if you look at if you guys look up the term normcore, and you'll see Shia LaBeouf all over the place, nasty shirt, nasty jeans, and combat boots, and then it's always different with what he wears. People may think like, wow, he's dressed like a slob, but it's not even like that. It's his style. And like Kanye West actually he even shopped in Shia LaBeouf's closet once because he liked his style. So anything now you can wear or do or sell, people are looking for it more than ever.
Yeah, for sure.
And what else did you have? Hold on.
Hey, back to what you're saying about like how you would think that if you would add Amazon, that you would kind of forget about your eBay. So that's the great thing about FBA, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like for example, if you saw like our Facebook group, like I sent those 12 boxes out today, right?
Yep.
Now I have a repricer, and after that, I just kind of just check and see what's sold, what's getting sent to me, if there's anything returned. Just, you know, it's very minor. You know what I mean? Being it that you're, if you're full time or even part time at, you know, at whatever point you do it, I mean, you take a little bit of your day to just kind of check on things, but for the most part, uh, like I source one day and I pack one day. Then that's my days off. You know what I mean? And the rest of the days are YouTube and eBay and family. So
Yeah.
you don't have to give up anything by having to add that, like you would, like say, if you did a brick and mortar, or you know, you started some type of different venture, or even a platform, say, like that's totally different than eBay. You know what I mean? Where you're having to be more hands-on because you're not doing the shipping, the customer service, none of that. eBay or Amazon's doing all that for you.
Do you guys ever have to force yourself to take a day off?
It's hard for me to do that. Basically, the way I set up my time is, if my wife's home, typically I'll try to be upstairs hanging out with her just to spend time. Because I know whenever we had the church open, I used to like neglect the heck out of her just with, you know, like the 24/7 duties of making sure everybody else is all right. So like I made it a priority that I wouldn't let that happen again. So if she's home, typically I'm spending time with her. So I'll kind of make my work day around that. So if she's off, pretty much all I'll do is I'll come do the morning show, pack my orders, and then basically spend the day with her.
That's cool. Before we finish up, though, I mean, I could talk to you guys for hours, as Nate knows. I think you had me up 2 times in a row where we're up till 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday morning. That was a lot of fun. But I do have to get up for work, so that's why I kind of was like, I was happy it was later on, because I can set myself up to know that I'm going to go to bed right after here. If not, my mind just stays going all night long, thinking of things and what I want to do next. But what is your guys' goals for YouTube and your channel? You guys have your morning show. What is your goals for probably by I would say the end of year goals for that, and then also for your businesses?
I think me and Nate are pretty similar, just because like we see eye to eye on a lot of things. But as far as business, I want to double what I did last year. You know, because there were some months that were super slow last year. You know, so I'm confident I can definitely do double the business I did last year, especially with expanding into like 4 different platforms and everything like that. As far as YouTube, I set a goal in the beginning of the year. I wanted to get to 2,000 subs, and I'm at I just hit 1,300 yesterday.
I did too.
Nice.
I've only been on since 2005.
So I hit 1,000 in 10 months. So my goal for this year was to get to 2,000.
What about you, Nate?
I mean, honestly, for YouTube, I really don't have really any goals for it. You know what I mean? Like, I guess the thing that I'm looking for in my YouTube is kind of like what we're doing now, just collabing, having fun with it, meeting new people, and just kind of helping one another. New people, you know, people like yourselves that have been doing this for a while, and just spreading knowledge around. Like, I really enjoy just sitting and talking and having growing friendships and just doing this. Like, it's really not about the subs. I mean, of course, like making a few bucks off of AdSense or whatever is nice or whatever, but that's not anything I'm looking towards or why I do it. It's all for giving back, because if it wasn't for me catching that one YouTube video of Mike Global Voodoo, I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? So it's almost like my way of giving back. You know what I mean? So for this, my channel could sit at 700 subs to this point till 5 years from now. I'd be really confused why that's happening, but at the same time, it wouldn't be like, like, oh, like I failed or whatever. As long as I'm doing a show and just having fun, like me and Anthony doing our show, or we're doing working hangouts or whatever, then I'm really enjoying it. You know what I mean? Like it's just my way of like taking a break, I guess, and really, but also working, I guess, in a way too, because I'm learning more. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different things you can sell and niches and everything else and trends that you never fully have a grasp of reselling as a whole. You can have a really good idea about it, but you never, so I'm always trying to pick up new things, new ideas, what's trending, what's best to buy, what's this, what's that. So it's fun and it's a learning experience. And I just appreciate all the people that watch us and thanks. I really appreciate it.
And I definitely want to get into before we go, it'll be the last thing, is your morning group, your morning hangouts. I absolutely love them. Like I'm literally in my office, and I know you see me probably come and go a lot of times. It's because I get busy a little bit, but for the most part, I sit there and I have you guys at almost full blast because I'm able to close my office door and sit there and watch you guys have fun. And it's so free flowing. It's all, everything is, there's really not much dead space or dead air. I think it's a really good morning hangout to watch. How long have you been doing that for?
I've been doing a morning show for close to about a year now. And then that show broke up and I started a new one with Tommy the Bargain Effect. And when we started that, I was like, I got to bring in Nate because like me and Nate are super close. We're both Pittsburgh guys and we do a lot of stuff together. So Nate came in. And then around December, we basically, the third guy decided to take some time off. So me and Nate basically rebranded to ECOM and Beyond, and we've been doing it ever since.
And you guys, shout out, you guys have a nice Facebook too, ECOM and Beyond. I'm part of it. I think, Bill, are you part of it?
I think so.
Okay. And then do you want to talk about in April, you guys are having that meet and greet?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Nate and I are planning a Pittsburgh reseller meetup. It's for everybody, whether you resell or not, whether you're on YouTube and create content or not. Anybody is able to come. It's going to be one main day, which is April the 18th. It's going to be in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. And then we have some other activities planned after the meetup. But we have other YouTubers coming, like the Bargain Effect and the Shamrock Pixie are going to be staying at my house, and Hip Flip and Mama's staying at Nate's house. And they're going to be here for several days. So we actually have a full 7-day week planned out with activities. We have a fun activity every day, and we have sourcing activities every day. And we have it so anybody that's coming for any length of time throughout that week will know where like the majority of the group's going to be, so people can get together and collab and have fun and really just get to know each other better. So if anyone's interested in that, we keep all the information in our Facebook group, which is called ECOM and Beyond. Jennifer Hayes just dropped a link to it in the chat. So if you guys would, go ahead and join there. We do more than just talk about the meetup and about our show. It's a good place where if you create content or you want to share your eBay stores or anything like that, we're open for networking in there. If you have questions like, man, I can't find this comp, can somebody help me out? Or anything like that. It's basically a free for all. The only real rule is don't be a butthole.
Yeah.
So
that's the same thing in my group.
Okay.
But we don't have, we're not, what'd you say, Bill?
I said we have that rule, don't we?
Yeah, but we just don't have, I guess sometimes people forget that when people talk smack to you, they don't know that because I've been away for so long, they really don't know that you're the owner, not the owner, but the co-creator of the group, and can, like try to tell you like, hey, listen, like, obviously I know my stuff because I created this group, and all you got to do is go to my previous videos to see what I'm about. Because sometimes I have people, not lately, because it seems like everybody knows me now, but when I was coming back and before I made any videos, I had a lot of people saying, oh, well, that has to be fake numbers. Whereas I take the screenshot with my eBay name, right? I always leave my eBay name out there so anybody can check my stuff out so they know I'm legit. And then I show the exact numbers I have on there. And they're like, well, you're not showing exactly how much you paid for everything. I'm like, well, if I'm telling you I'm paying nothing more than $5 to $10, $15 off of every item in certain items, then I'm making average $67 a sale, then, I mean, it adds up to a really good profit. But I mean, you get a lot of people that are just, they're just sour. No matter what, they're negative. And I've seen it time and time again in these groups. What'd you say, Bill?
I said that's what it is. They're jealous. They
and I think there's a lot of negativity too. Just people, it's not going good for them, and they're stuck in a rut. And they see someone kind of they think is new doing all this, and like, oh well, they can't be happening. I've been doing it for years, and it's like, no, I've been doing it for years too. And I'm more smarter with what I'm buying now. So I think it comes with experience, and I also think it 10 times folds me when I come up on these hangouts with you guys, because I'm not only am I listening to you guys and talking to you guys back and forth, I'm taking everything in so I can learn what maybe you're doing different than I'm doing and you're successful at, so I can tweak it. Because I mean, that's what we're all trying to do here, is trying to make adjustments so we can move on and maintain that a better income moving ahead of time. And plus how eBay is, it's always changing. So you got to adapt with the times. You're going to be caught up and missing out on stuff. But I definitely think you guys should check out ECOM and Beyond. Their morning shows at 10 to 12 p.m. Monday through Friday. And then it flip-flops. Anthony's channel and Nate's channel. So Pittsburgh's channel one day, and then Every Day I'm Hustling channel, which we have plenty of links to them in the below. And I think I put it in the description, all you guys' links, and even the group for ECOM and Beyond. And likewise, they allow everybody to put their YouTube videos in there. And we do also too. I had a little pushback from my group members, a few of mine, not Bill, that were like, well, it's going to be hectic if we do that. I'm like, well, you forget that's how we all came up, was by having everybody throw their videos up there and so we could watch them. I just did a post 2 days ago, and it's been like the most popular post I've posted in like years. I just basically said, let's show support. Put your our YouTube is the Thrifting Lounge. Everybody below, let's comment and subscribe and like all their stuff too. So we have like over 200 comments already, and it keeps being brought up to the top. So I don't know if you guys are in my group.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, we are.
I just added
anytime you guys want. Anytime you guys want, just put your name in that link, or not the link, the just what is the comment section. You're obviously, and then people will start, you'll see, and they'll start commenting and say, hey, subscribe to you. So I think that's a pretty cool thing what we did. And a lot of people got positive feedback saying this is nice. It shows support to everybody. Because again, we're all a group trying to help each other out, because we all want to make money, and then we also want to have fun and give back. That's why I think we all do this, is to help everybody, each and every individual out here. Oh, of course. I don't know if that's Jackie or Sarah. She says, Kevin, none of your links and your description for your social works. What else? It's like this every week. I copy and paste the link, so I guess I can't copy and paste the description every week, or do I have to change it?
You know what? You can.
Yeah, the link will be different,
but you need to make sure it doesn't. Like sometimes you'll see when you do the link, it'll be like the dot dots.
Yeah.
If it has the dot dots, it won't work. I keep all of my stuff either I actually have it in two places. I have a little notepad on my Mac that I copy and paste a lot of my stuff out of, and then I also have a backup in my email. So like, say I'm like out and about and I want to get a video up and I have it on my phone, I'll just upload it there and grab it from my email.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do, is do on the notes. I have a little notepad on here too, because I always thought like, oh, copy and paste description, you're good to go. And I should have noticed when someone said your eBay links isn't working, and I'm like, I ended up having her put it in there one day. So I've been like, I guess I've been copy and pasting dead links this whole time.
I did that at first too. I did that probably for the first like 5 or 6 months I had my channel.
Oh, it's a good thing. As soon as you said dots, I'm like, yeah, that's what I have. And you're like, yeah. Well, what else is new?
The thing I do is I'll go to in the address bar and I'll select all. and then that will be the full address. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what do you mean? Select all, like, because I just scroll
Like
down. I go into the description.
say you're going to my channel, for example.
Yeah.
Then like you click on my channel, you're looking at all my videos and everything. Go to the address bar, right click, select all, and that will select the whole address, and then copy, and then that will get you the whole address so that you won't have any dots or anything.
Oh, I'm doing this all wrong, guys. See, I learned something new every day. It had nothing to do with reselling, I guess. But seriously, thank you guys for coming on. We got to have you on here again. Also, Bill, I want to run this by you because we have the reseller reunion every Wednesdays, starting this Wednesday. It's going to be the official first episode starting at 8 p.m. We'll probably go a couple hours like we used to do back in the day. Not the 6 hours like we did the first episode. That was absolutely insane. But we want to have, I think I want to have it where, and Chris from Thrift Beast brought up a good point. Why don't you have it maybe once a month where it's only resellers, and then every week do it with the older resellers or the OG YouTubers, and then once a week do it with, half resellers, half OGs and half new, like you guys, having you guys on and hanging out with us for a little bit, and then having them keep coming and going. You know what I mean? Like hopping in and out like every 20 minutes, half hour, hang out, talk, questions, catch up. I think that'd be pretty cool. What do you think about that, Bill?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, because I'd like to get a lot of those newer people mixed in with us, because I feel like they can learn from us, and then likewise we can learn some of how they do their reselling stuff too. And it's another good way of giving back to the community. So definitely would love to have you guys on there. I know, Nate, you said you work Wednesday nights.
Yeah,
that's a huge bummer. Damn.
I could come on like 10:30 maybe or something.
Oh, that's fine. We'll probably still be running anyways.
Yeah.
We really don't. I probably ain't going to be really any time limit set, just as long as everybody's having a good time and obviously hanging out in the chat. And actually, speaking of the devil, I just saw Chris Thrift Beast just actually popped in as soon as we were talking about him. Yeah, that's pretty funny. He must have been lurking. But Anthony, how does your Wednesdays look?
I'm pretty flexible any day of the week.
Okay, that's great, because I mean, like I said, I want to have a lot of people on there coming and going, new people. And even it doesn't have to be specifically to like thrifting and stuff. It could be like dumpster divers or like storage, people that does storage and stuff. But I really like the people that have never been on camera before. And it seems like we've been able to get some of those people back on here. We had a few people addicted to hustle. I've been talking to him for a while now, trying to get him to make a video. He went out this weekend, bought the same setup I have, the same package, the Blue Yeti, and then the 922 Logitech that came as a bundle. So he bought it. And then Clay's Closet bought it too. Plus he bought the GoPro, because I just like to see everybody in front of a camera and having a good time and showing off what you got and how you make videos, because it's a lot of fun. And when you start connecting with these people, it becomes personal, and then we all learn from each other. And then we're always like texting. Like I text Nate all the time. And then of course, Bill, he's part of our, our private chats that we have. But I had such an amazing time with you guys tonight. It free flowed. It went great. And look, we still have 43 people in right now, an hour, 45 minutes later is amazing. Stay on after a few minutes, guys. I'll talk to you guys. But everyone else, thank you guys for coming. And we'll be here next Monday. And on Wednesday at 8 p.m., remember, we have the resellers reunion. It's probably going to go a few hours. Wednesday, 8 p.m. Also, I also want to mention Cali Picker again. He's going to be, Virginia is going to be on her channel doing a prayer Wednesday morning for him, because he has his operation. So we're all very, very, very worried about him to pull through and be the same old James that he's always been, funny and happy-go-lucky. He's had some amazing things happen in the last few years, not knowing that he had a daughter out there and finding that, and then a grandchild. And it's awesome to see him so happy and actually really excited. He was the one that kept like, hey, we got to do this YouTube reseller reunion. We got to do it. He really pushed hard for it because it's something that he's been wanting to do for a while, and he missed the whole community. That's the thing. And I guess it was the best time for all of us to come back and do this. And also, Nate, I would suggest trying to get a hold of Dave and Sarah Gilman and trying to get them on your show, because when it comes to Amazon, private labeling, and even eBay, they are like the masters of everything when it comes to that. So if you need any contact information for them, and I'm sure they'd love to go on your channel, that's one person you guys should definitely have on.
Yeah, we would love to. And just goes for pretty much anybody, even chat included. If anyone's interested in coming on as a guest on our morning show, just reach out to either me or Nate. We're very flexible as far as scheduling, and we really like to give back and to help promote people. So, you're a channel and you want to be promoted, hit us up. We'll bring you on.
Definitely. That's what they were all about, putting everybody up and having a good time. Victoria just posted it. Adventures in Reselling right there. 9 a.m. Eastern on my channel is the prayer live. Please come and support Callie Picker James. Thank you so much for doing that, Victoria. You have no clue how much that means to a lot of us that know James personally. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Everybody else with the panel here, just stay on, all right?
Cool.
All right, let me end this.
Peace, everyone.
See you guys.